Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to do our TA session. We're going to go over Bitcoin, Ethereum, EGLD, and Cardano. And basically, this is going to be a short video. I'm not going to make it long. I'm having some issues with my upload speed, so I don't want to take too long to upload this. There's one thing that I wanted to let you guys know, okay? Lately, I've noticed that there have been certain people impersonating me on YouTube. They're creating accounts that use my name and my picture, and they're commenting on my videos and trying to tell you to contact people on Telegram or WhatsApp and putting phone numbers. I want you to know that that is not me. I would never do that. I do not post any phone numbers, any email addresses, nothing like that in comments. So if you see that, I want you to report the person who does this and reach out to me on Twitter if you want to be a comment moderator. I could use a few people that have the ability to go in here, that watch the videos often, that I know on Twitter, that have talked to me before, that can start reporting people or banning people that do stuff like that. So keep that in mind. That's something I'm going to be looking into. If you're interested in being a moderator, give me a shout out on Twitter. Just shoot me a DM and we'll talk about it. The other thing that I want you to do is if you see a comment and you're not sure if it's from me or not, click on the person's picture or their channel name, go to the channel and make sure it has the same number of subscribers that it's actually me, okay? Otherwise, every couple of days I go through the comments and I try to remove whatever I can. So that's just a disclaimer for you. I want to keep everyone safe. Let's go ahead and get started with the TA. All right, so the first thing we're going to look at, as always, is Bitcoin. And there's an interesting chart that I want to show you with Bitcoin that talks about Bitcoin's compound annual growth rate. So we're going to take a look at that right after we analyze the chart. But the Bitcoin chart is looking very interesting. You'll see what I've done here since the last time. There's a slight change at the bottom of the screen. What you see here is you see a upward trend line that's in red. Okay, now this new trend line at the bottom is basically one that I've been wanting to add for a while, and I'm going to give you a better look at it. Basically, what this trend line is showing us is our support level when we were working through the $30,000 to $40,000 area. So we have cemented that as a support line because we saw we hit it right here a couple of days ago, and basically now we know that this is a valid support line. It's been hit numerous times. We've hit this line once here, we've hit it once here, we've hit it once here, and we hit it once again very recently. So now that we know that's a support line, we have a brand new trading channel to keep an eye on. And that's showing us that from where we are, we want to see, for the bullish case for Bitcoin, we want to see Bitcoin cross over the $50,500 mark and flip the yellow line as support. So bullish scenario, you see a move up here and you flip this line as support, and then we start trading in this range, which is when we're looking to drop, to go back into the 55, 56 to 60,000 range. Okay, so that's one case if we continue moving up. The downside case is that now if we move down, we're going to expect to hit support on this red line, which right now sits at around 44,500 to 44,800. So we're expecting not to fall down to 43,000 again. And if we do, it would have to happen quite soon because that's still where the line is right now. But within a day, it's going to be in the 44,000 level. So if we have a drop, we could be seeing that. But what we're really looking at with Bitcoin is starting to see what seems to be possibly a very bullish scenario. And the reason I say that is if we zoom in a bit here on the 4-hour chart, you're starting to see that we had a bearish cross. The bearish cross was here. This was where the 20 exponential moving average dropped below not only the orange one, which was the 50. So the 50, it had the first cross here, which was neutral. Once it crossed below the 100 exponential moving average, which is the aqua one, that was a bearish cross. And I told you at that time, if we saw that, you could expect a drop back to around 40,000. We saw a drop all the way back to 43,000. So we had called that pretty accurately. Well, now what we're starting to see is something interesting. We're starting to see the moving averages converge. You're starting to see that the 100 exponential moving average is converging with the 50. That's happening right here. And you're starting to have the 20 exponential moving average flip bullish. And it's maybe 24 hours away from crossing. And if we have the 20 exponential moving average continue to move up here, and then we have these two moving averages start curving upwards, this will be a bullish cross. And this cross will indicate that we're likely going to see some upwards movement. And that upwards movement can be quite significant and take us well back into the 53, 54, 55,000 range. Now, the thing with Bitcoin I want you to keep in mind is it could get even more constricted here, because when we look at the actual trading range within the Bollinger Bands, if we pull those up, you'll see that the Bollinger Bands have started to widen a bit. So what we are really wanting to see is that either the price stays stable here or continues to move up, because what we want to see is this bottom area of the Bollinger Band start to curve upwards while this one starts to go sideways, and we start to have a constriction point. And if that happens, we could be expecting that constriction point to start appearing on the chart by tomorrow evening, by sometime tomorrow evening, about 24 hours from now, or maybe 28 to 36 hours from now. So keep that in mind, that we want to see these things happen with Bitcoin to confirm a bullish cross. And the good thing with Bitcoin now is that even if it drops, what we really want to see is, if we get a drop with Bitcoin, is Bitcoin going to get support at that 20 exponential moving average? It sits right now at 47,700. So if Bitcoin drops from where it is now, as long as we see it get support on this blue line, and it continues to follow the blue line and trade with it, or bounce off of it and go up, then that's a very bullish sign. So if you see a drop like that, and then you see a move up, very bullish. That's an excellent sign, because one of the things that you see during the bull phases of Bitcoin is that it sticks to that 20 exponential moving average, bounces off of it, and keeps moving up. And there are plenty of cases of that happening. You can see that that's happened here. It happened here. It happened, well, basically it dropped a little bit below it, but it also bounced off when it came back up there. Then you've had it in these two areas. You saw it again here before the big move up. So there are numerous times that a bounce off the 20 happens. And if you go back historically, you can see that in a lot of instances. Bitcoin always bounces off that 20 exponential when it's ready to start another leg up. And you'll see right now, as we're talking, Bitcoin has dipped, and it touched the 20 exponential moving average. I mean, this is live. So you can really see the accuracy of some of these lines when you start following them. It literally touched the 20. I'm going to zoom in even more so you can see the candle. As we were talking, Bitcoin dropped. It touched exactly at the 20 exponential moving average, right where we said, at 47,700. And it started bouncing up. It's having a little volatility now. So it's moving up, it's moving down. So we got to see, is it going to fall below that 20 exponential moving average, or is it going to recover now that it has touched it? So very interesting to keep watching Bitcoin. We might switch back to the Bitcoin chart to see how it interacts with that moving average, because that's really key. And immediately seeing it get bought up once it hits that moving average is very interesting. It really shows you in real time that we set it right before it happened. So as we were saying this and we're looking at this, we see it come down and touch the moving average and bounce off. So what you really don't want to see is it to drop below. And if it does drop below, if it's a wick, that's fine. If the candle drops below but then gets bought up back above the moving average within this 4-hour time period, that's really good. So right now we got to keep watching it and see what happens. And I'm going to flip back to it, but we're going to keep moving because we don't want this video to be overly long. I want to spend not too much time on it. So one thing I want to show you here, this chart is called the 10-year compounded annual growth rate, the CAGR for Bitcoin. And it compares Bitcoin to gold, to the S&P 500, to the NASDAQ Composite, to long-dated U.S. Treasury, to Tesla, and to Amazon. And what you can see here is that the 10-year compounded annual growth rate for Bitcoin is at almost 200%. So this means for the last 10 years, at any point in time, if you had got into Bitcoin and you had been investing the money or reinvesting any of your earnings into Bitcoin, like basically just not pulling it out, just holding it, you would have been making at a minimum 200% per year compared to some of the best performing assets in traditional financial classes. Now, when you look at something like this, you have to imagine, why are big companies wanting to get in on Bitcoin? Why are institutions wanting to get in? This is what they're looking at. They are seeing here that over a 10-year period, Bitcoin has proven itself to not just be the best long-term asset investment, but to be the best by a significant margin compared to all the rest. I mean, even if you compare it to Tesla, it's its CAGR is performing 140 times better, 140% better, right? Which is insane. That is an amazing metric. And when people see this metric, they really get excited and they want to put a percentage of their portfolio into the asset that is performing the best over the last decade. So keep that in mind. It's a very interesting thing. We're going to move right on to EGLD. So when we're looking at EGLD, we're seeing something similar like we saw with Bitcoin. We are seeing here that this already had a bullish cross. We saw the bullish cross on EGLD, and I told you guys about that yesterday while the price was around, I don't know, 130 or something like that. I don't remember. You can check my Twitter. But pretty much we saw the bullish cross here. This is where the 20 exponential moved above everything else. And right now we're at a critical point because the price has come down to 133 and it is testing not only the 20 exponential, but it's coming down and testing the other moving averages. So what we really want to see here to maintain bullish momentum with EGLD is we want to see the price move in an upward direction. Even if it goes sideways, that's fine. But as long as the price stays above these moving averages, then that's a good sign because then you'll continue to see the 20 exponential curve upwards. That's what you want. And then you want to continue to see the orange one curve with it and the aqua one, which is the 100, stay below. So if you saw something like this and the price moved in this direction, even if it went sideways around 135 to 140, that's perfectly fine because that's maintaining that bullish cross, even if it takes a little time for that bullish cross to really take effect. So keep that in mind with EGLD. That's really the main thing I'm looking at right now. There's nothing confirming a move down. There's nothing confirming a big move up. But the bullish cross we saw here is an indication that the price could have a breakout. So we really need to see what happens. And you can see these dips are quite interesting because the last time we dipped below the moving averages, we bounced right back up. So if we see a smaller dip this time, let's say the price dips down here and then bounces up and keeps getting constricted, well, then you're putting in a symmetrical triangle. And that symmetrical triangle you could end up breaking out of and have a very big move up. So another thing that I want you to look at with EGLD is the larger time frame. All right, I'm going to take away these downward wedges because technically this wedge that we were watching, we've already broken out of it. Now, I told you this could be a long breakout, so we could move sideways and then break out more. But as far as this descending wedge, we've broken out of it unless we fall back below 100, which, right now I'm not going to anticipate that. But one thing I see on a larger picture here with EGLD is I see that we are putting in a very large symmetrical triangle again. And this is quite interesting because these symmetrical triangles can really work out either way. You can see them being bullish, you can see them being bearish, but when we look at this symmetrical triangle, there's something very key that I like to watch. And what that is where is the price movement looking like it's going? And what that shows me right now is that even if we want to stay within this symmetrical triangle and have a breakout towards the apex, which would be somewhere in this area, right? Somewhere around March 4th or 5th, so about 3 days from now. Now, if we do continue trading in this symmetrical triangle, then what I'm going to expect to see is that if the price dips, it does not go below 118, and then at that point, if the price goes up, it gets resistance at around 140, and if we keep trading there, then somewhere in the 127 area is when we're going to have the next breakout and break probably above 150 or 160. So something like this is very possible. So I'm going to go ahead and save this and I'm going to add a new group for it, and we'll just put these trend lines into the new group so we can turn this on or turn this off as a whole, and we'll lock everything in place. So everything is now locked in place. So it's not going to move. So we can watch this prediction and see how it works out. If we hold within this symmetrical triangle, we're going to find out very soon. The only other thing for EGLD that's really interesting to look at right now in the spirit of keeping things short and sweet is that the Bollinger Bands on here are starting to get constricted again. So these Bollinger Bands have always been making moves when we've seen the constriction events occur. One of them we saw very clearly here. I told you about this before it happened, but this one was one here. This one was not as constricted, but we still saw a move out of it. Now we are getting even more constricted again. So we really want to see what happens if these Bollinger Bands keep getting constricted to this point. Then we could really be setting up the stage for a major move up and flipping us back to the 170 or 180 area. So keep it in mind, we are looking for something to happen with EGLD probably within at maximum the next 3 days. You could see it a lot sooner than that, but at the moment, the key thing to see is that we don't fall below these moving averages. So we really don't want to go below 130. If we go below 130, we want to come back up pretty quick. We don't want to go back down to 124, 125 for more than a day. If we're there for about a day, that's okay, but then we want to flip back because what we really don't want to see is we don't want to see that this blue moving average here, the 20, starts dropping back down and crosses these two on a downward trend. If that happens, then you're looking for the price to move down again. And at that point, we could go down back to around 120 until we get support, because at that area, we are still holding this symmetrical triangle. So keep it in mind, there's a number of things to look at. There's a number of things to watch. On my end, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the symmetrical triangle and that little prediction visible so you can check that out. And that's pretty much it for EGLD. We'll wrap it up with Cardano, and Cardano is going to be a quick one today, okay? So with Cardano, we were looking at a number of things. You'll see that what I had done is I had made a prediction for you guys, okay? And this prediction was basically meant to show you what I thought was going to happen with the price. I was expecting Cardano to go sideways and have a move up and then come back and test the red line. Now, I wasn't expecting the move up until maybe today, but we actually had that move up on the 27th, and we did in fact come back and test the red line, and we're still testing it. And that's a good sign because we might be moving back up and then coming back down to test this one more time before we really decide the movement that Cardano wants to make. Cardano is looking very bullish at this time. The only thing that it really needs to do is it needs to hold above $1.22. If it can stay between $1.20 and $1.22, that's not the worst, but you really want to see it go back to like $1.30 and start this trend line up again. So we'll keep this chart up so you can keep watching it. As far as the moving averages go on Cardano, you're slightly starting to see the 20 exponential moving average curve. So if the price does keep dropping and it comes down to around $1.10, then we might see a bearish cross with the 20 and the 50 exponential moving average. And that could mean the price is headed back down to $1 to retest the dollar. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on it, but as of right now, it's still looking bullish. It's just a matter of with this price constriction that's occurring, you know, if you start to see here, the higher or the lower highs are being put in, and then if you look at the bottom, the higher lows are being put in. So this is also forming a triangle, and it's the apex of this, which is pretty much right where my line is. We would expect it to break out, and if it breaks down, we're expecting support at around $1.05 to $1.07. So keep those in mind. Cardano overall as a project is still looking bullish. There's nothing bearish about it, but the price action is always going to have, when you have such a high supply of an asset, you're going to have a lot of people taking their profits because there's just a lot more investors on an asset that's only $1.22 to buy. A lot more people can afford multiple Cardanos. Putting in $100, you get a good amount of Cardano. So there could be a lot of people that with these drops, they want to take their profits and get out. So you're going to see a lot more sideways movement on the way up, right? It moves up, it consolidates. It moves up, it consolidates. And those consolidations could be a lot shorter with Cardano because as people feel comfortable buying in, they can afford to buy in. So you tend to see a bit more volatility in short-term price action with the coins that have a lower average cost to get in. So keep that in mind with Cardano. We just got to keep an eye on it. The key right now, like I said, is to hold $1.22 and then bounce off of it. That's the key. The drop down, you're looking at about $1.05 to $1.07. Okay, we're looking at this green line here where we're looking to see the support, and right now that sits at $1.06. So that's why I give you a range of $1.05 to $1.07. All right, that's what we're looking at. That's everything for today. I know the video is a little short, so we're just going to wrap it up by looking at Bitcoin and seeing that it is holding that 20 exponential moving average. So keep an eye on Bitcoin. That's really going to be key. If it holds that 20 exponential, or if it bounces off of it and we start to see a move up to this yellow line, that is very bullish for Bitcoin. So keep it in mind, keep an eye on it. The link in my description has my Bitcoin chart, has my EGLD chart, so you can check both of those out and you can give me any feedback you might have for me, and reach out to me on Twitter. I will let you guys know once my upload speed is fixed and I can live stream again. I loved our Q&As, and I'm really disappointed I can't do them because my internet company has not fixed my upload speed yet. So I'm holding off on that. I'm waiting on it. Make sure you're safe in the comments. Don't get scammed by anyone pretending to be me. Remember, if it's me, you click on my name, you're gonna see my videos, you're gonna see my subscriber count. So always double check. Do not ever reach out to anybody on Telegram or WhatsApp or anything like that if they put the numbers in the comments. They are trying to scam you, so do not listen to them. All right, hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will catch you next time. Take it easy. Peace.